You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
Welcome to another episode of Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Kate Flickinger.
Hey, what's up, Rob?
I'm doing all right, Kate. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you do professionally?
Yeah, so I wear a bunch of different hats. I am a PhD student in exercise physiology, and I'm also a research specialist focusing on emergency medicine.
Okay, now with the emergency medicine aspect of it, what exactly are you studying or researching in emergency medicine?
My main interest is post cardiac arrest research. So after the heart stops, um, my department does a whole bunch of research there. My interest is mainly like prognostication and long term outcomes. So a lot of the stuff that we do focuses on this is across the board, not just where I work. Focuses on how they're doing in the hospital. I'm more interested in how are they doing a year after they've basically died. A lot of them aren't going back to work. They're depressed. They don't reintegrate into their social circles. And I want to focus on, giving them a second chance at a better life.
What do you think it is that they get depressed over? I know the fact that maybe dying and then kind of coming back to life, but you think they would have a whole new grasp on life, but it seems like they're not the exact same, I would say. It's like they saw something from the other side. I've only met one person in my life that I think has died. He actually died 3 times.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
when I first started my job at this hotel, I met this guy named Bobby. He was like a really nice chef, and he was very nice to me. I'm a fit freak fanatic that we'll probably talk about with the exercise
Yeah,
science
I'm
degree
here
that you
for it.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was very, very keen on what I ate, tuna, all that type of stuff. But I remember a couple times I would forget to bring my lunch, so I'd be hungry like all day, and they would
Hmm.
bring out free food or something, but it was like burgers, a bunch of stuff I didn't eat. And
Yeah.
he would make me something. He would make me some eggs. He would make me something that he knew I would eat and knew was kind of a little bit healthier too, whether it was like a salad or
Yeah.
something. And I
That's
remember
nice.
him telling me he died 3 times, and I looked at him like, "The fuck are you talking about?" And he goes, "Oh, the first time I was in the war, I got shot and then brought back to life. And the second time I was in the 9/11, I was one of the first responders." And then he was explaining another time, and I was like, at that point, I was like, and you're here? How did you end up in this small town and end up as a chef?" And he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
my dream is really to take all my belongings that I have in my car and kind of travel out to the Grand Canyon and just camp, man." I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, after that, you would pick something a little bit tamer than the military or being a first responder. I'd fuck off to the beach for sure.
But, literally the first thing I asked him was like, "It's crazy, like, do you ever see anything, like, from being on the other side? Is there an afterlife?" And he always just gave me the same thing. He goes, "I see ghosts sometimes," he gave me this kind of response. I'm sitting there like, "All right, ghosts?" Like, I don't know how much I believe you, but he was just so I guess, so into it or so just driven by, like, what he was saying. I was like, "You seem like you've really experienced something."
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, like these are my opinions and they don't necessarily pertain to my university, but it seems like some people experience like the light at the end of the tunnel and experience new life. Obviously, like they don't get oxygen to the brain for a while, so they're going to take a cognitive hit of some sort. So that could obviously throw off their mood. A lot of them also have survivor's guilt of like, well, why was it me who survived and not someone else? And a lot of people are also scared. They acknowledge how serious a cardiac arrest is, and then they freak out and are afraid to leave their house. So I would say those who have a fresh outlook on life, they're the lucky ones.
Can you get PTSD from being brought back to life?
Absolutely. A lot of people who experience like ICU stays, so intensive care unit stays, it doesn't matter if it's cardiac arrest, just even anyone who is in an ICU, even just after a surgery, can experience PTSD from that situation, any serious traumatic event.
Oh my god, I have PTSD, I just realized.
Oh, from what?
All those times I used to get those injections for vaccines as a kid. And then my mom would rip off the Band-Aid, but she would do it like in a way like, I'm not gonna rip it off. I just want to see. And she rips it off. I'm like, you said you were either gonna count to 3 or we were gonna do something different because that hurt.
Lies. Yeah, lies. I ripping off tape, like that plastic tape after you get a blood draw. The
Oh,
fucking worst, man.
yeah.
That's worse than the IV. Worse than the IV.
I'm just like, do it quick. Like I've had to get blood tests done recently, and I since I work out a lot, I have probably much like yourself, I have a bit of what protruding veins, I would say. So
Yeah, you've got some nice pipes.
that's literally what she said to me, which was the craziest thing. I was like, I got what? And she was like, you have good blood or good veins. I'm like, oh, is
Good
that a
veins.
good thing or a bad thing? Because I look at my grandma, she has the same kind of vein structure I do.
No, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. And since you work out a lot, you probably have, some good flow too. It doesn't just like drip out into the test tube.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Usually when they stick the needle in there, I kind of just look away.
Gotcha. Okay. That's fair.
Now, how did you decide to start to research some of this stuff? Like you're dealing with people that are being brought back to life, or just dealing with cardiology or cardiac, I guess in general, that general area. Is this something that you picked up kind of with just your passion for fitness?
I shit you not, I kind of fell into this whole thing. So like growing up, I always played sports and was really into health and fitness, but as a kid, you don't really know what the fuck you're looking at, and you take Self magazine as gospel. But I also really loved science growing up, so I was a biology major at Allegheny College, and I wanted to go to veterinary school since like the day I could talk. I wanted to be a vet. I came home with all kinds of critters, shadowed at a vet, all that kind of stuff.
Same here. Literally exactly the same here
Yeah.
until I took my older dog to the vet, and the vet stuck 2 fingers up the dog's butt. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't ever want to pursue that at all. I did not know that
And
was a
tap out.
thing. Yep.
Tap out, man. Yeah. No, I went through college wanting to do that. And I took the job where I am now basically because I knew that I had to take some prerequisites and I wanted to get the fuck out of my parents' house after I graduated. Uh, and I knew that I would get like an employee discount for going to school. And I fell in love with it. I was like, well, fuck veterinary school. But in there, I knew that I was interested in medicine, but had no interest in being a physician. I've seen that lifestyle, and they're brilliant, and I respect them. But that's not. I like my nights and weekends. I like my sleep. I don't do all nighters. That's just not who I am. So I focused on my like side interest of fitness, and I'm tailoring it to that kind of research.
You never
So
thought
that's
about
how
even developing personal training, maybe?
I actually do have my ACSM certified personal trainer certificate, and I will do that on the side occasionally. I do a lot of remote stuff for friends, mainly for kicks and giggles, and just to keep myself fresh in the gym as well. But I like the sciencey, nerdy stuff. So like my end goal is once I'm done with the school, is to mainly maybe get more into the personal training stuff. Once I have, like I said, more time but I like the medical field, just not being a physician or a nurse or someone that has to take night shift. So that's how I went into that.
What it comes across, like you were saying before about depression amongst the people that were brought back to life, and we're kind of talking about like why would they be like that? What do you see it mostly be from incidences where they kind of develop some type of disorder, like you were saying, not really leaving the house, not really feeling the same? Do you feel like medication can fix that, or is there an alternative route such as like holistic healing or?
I think it probably depends on the person, just like it would with any other individual who didn't have this experience. Some people will respond to, just even going to see a therapist. Some people might need drugs. Some people might just need to give it time. I think the biggest thing is that they need to realize that, like, they probably will not go back to 100% the way they were. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule. But most people take a hit like that and they're not going to be doing the exact same thing the exact same way prior to their cardiac arrest. So they need to realize I need to find a new normal.
Mm. It seems like you would die and come back to life. There's probably a high possibility of the fact that you might be able to lose a certain memory or lose a certain type of skill too. I know some people that, got into serious accidents where they hit their head really hard. Next thing you know, they're not able to do math very well. They're not able to read very well. They have disabilities or something.
Yeah, I mean, it happens with any time that you take a cognitive hit. your frontal cortex. You might start swearing up and down, left and right, cursing people all the time. It really depends on where you take that cognitive hit, but some people will have short-term memory loss. Some people won't remember, the first month after their arrest. If that and that holds true for people who are severely concussed, people who are in like motorcycle or car accidents who have a traumatic brain injury like that as well. Even my little sister, she played lacrosse and she got 3 concussions. They were bad. She took a lacrosse ball to the like dead center back of her skull, and she was wrecked for a while.
That's one sport I never enjoyed. Everyone's like, what do you mean? Lacrosse is awesome. It's way more physical than football. I'm like, yeah, but you have someone chucks a ball like 80 miles an hour and it's pretty heavy. It's like, imagine that hit you in the nuts.
Yeah, it fucking hurts.
Yeah.
And the girls don't wear padding or anything. They just recently, when I was in school playing lacrosse, they made them wear like a cage to protect their eyes because so many orbital bones got broken, and a mouth guard. Like, well, this doesn't do shit.
Holy shit. See, like that's when I played hockey for the first time, I remember getting hit and like the dude was jabbing with his stick. I was like, this is literally a sport for us to literally beat the shit out of each other with our sticks.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a lot. It's aggressive. I mean, it's fun, but I had knee injuries in high school, and I originally just, after I had knee surgery, I was like, you know what? Fuck the school sports. Like, I'll just hit the gym. I'll pick up weights and put them back down, and I'm less likely to fuck myself up.
Yeah, at least you're responsible if you mess yourself up too.
Exactly, exactly. So, how did you get into the fitness world?
Ooh, this
Uh-oh.
is a crazy one. I got bullied pretty bad through school actually. Through
Yeah,
my probably my junior year up to like my freshman year went a little bit of I do have a, I guess to clarify it a little bit better, is I have body dysmorphia in a way.
yeah,
I've gone to the gym every day for 7 years.
okay,
December 30th marked 7 years. I do it because I really don't like giving up on something ever.
yeah,
But when I signed up, I remember I was like barely eating. I went down to like an apple a day. I really wasn't fat. I was just kind of short and I don't know. It took a while for
yeah,
me to slim up and kind of get my growth spurt. But once I started the gym, I was like, holy shit, when I grab this weight, all my stress, all my problems are just gone. And then watching the
yep.
change, it was a long transformation too, which is why I'm pro.
It
Any
is.
anybody wants to pick up fitness, go ahead and
Yeah,
do it. But don't feel like
anyone can do it.
but don't feel like you need to be forced into it. Like, oh, it's 2020, I gotta be fit. Like
No.
that's one thing that gets me when I look on Snapchat. All my friends that eat like shit, drink like shit, and then for the first 2 weeks of January, they're posting like 10 times a day on social media saying, "At the gym, getting that workout, best day of my life." And I'm like, oh man, I hope you stick with this
And
and don't just.
yeah, and doing a juice cleanse as well. And I'm like, you're probably shitting your brains out and you're gonna hate your life and never do this again.
But, like, after going for such a while and watching the change and so many people that used to make fun of me, that when they got out of school and going to college and then they ended up drinking a lot and putting on a lot of weight, from not doing sports or anything, they would hit me up and be like, "Can you train me, bro?" Like, and they would cry. I had a couple friends or people that are friends now because they, I guess, just kinda coming up to me and apologizing and saying, "I really want help. I wanna be fit. I'm sorry I made fun of you." I'm like, look, man, you don't have to apologize. Like, I appreciate the apology, but I'm willing to help you if you're willing to put in the effort to kind of go after and pursue it. I'm in no,
Exactly.
I'm in no way a personal trainer. I make mistakes all the time. But
Right. And even a personal trainer needs a personal trainer. Like I
exactly.
look at my husband and I'm like, am I doing my squat right? Like because I can't look at myself.
And
You know what I mean?
it's the whole factor of too. When you look at like personal trainers, everyone goes, "Wait, you hired a personal trainer that's fat?" I'm like, You got to understand, people are people. Like, they get older. I know so many personal trainers that don't look anything like they used to back in the day. Doesn't mean they still don't have that knowledge in their brain.
Right. And also ultimately like my end goal is, yeah, I do want to look good in my jeans, and it's the body image thing, and it feels good, but at the end of the day, I want to be an old lady and not feel like trash. And I
Yeah.
think it's just moving your body makes a huge impact, and you need to do it throughout your life. I mean, you're going to be 60, excuse me, and you're probably not going to be deadlifting 200 pounds, but as long as you're moving, you're preventing entropy. And so I
Hey,
think, yeah,
I'm 22 years old. I don't even deadlift. I tried it, I think, again 2 weeks ago, but I have a back injury from I got hit by a jet
gotcha.
ski. So
Oh,
trying to bend down to pick anything up, I look like I have to shit. I'm just like, like. I remember I was deadlifting and I had like I think up to like 2 plates and a 25 on each side, and I haven't done it in forever. And then I went down, and I swear, the next day my back was so shredded up. I was like, I can't bend down to do anything. I'm just gonna lay in bed, put on the sweatpants, and let Netflix roll.
yeah. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, maybe you should refrain from the deadlifts. But the mobility, I worry more about like what am I doing mobility wise? Am I taking care of my body? Because that's what's going to matter when I'm 80. It doesn't matter if I have abs right now because they don't mean shit when I'm old. And I don't want to just sit there and rot. You know what I mean?
I'm aiming for a 6 pack at 60. So,
Okay, well, I mean, that's
well,
I
a
can
lot.
respect that.
A lot of
Yeah.
people, when it comes to the fit routine too, like they think that, oh, you have to go to the gym, you have to do this, you have to eat this, you have to do that. It's like it all plays a factor, but the main thing is just consistency. Like the
Yeah.
main thing is just being, one of the best advice I ever got was from my bodybuilding manager. Like, I mean, I was going to the gym like twice a day at one point to like working out 3 hours each session where it was just my life. Like I wasn't
Right.
working during the winter. So I was like, might as well not just sit at home and play video games and just work out and sleep. And
Yeah, why not?
I got down to 3% body fat. I stay constantly kind of even now around like 4 or 5% just because it's comfortable. And
Okay.
I like it more because I'm a big, like I said, a little bit coming from body dysmorphia a little bit. Like I like the look aesthetic of it, even though I'd never take my shirt off around anybody. And I wear jackets too. That's a big thing. You get
Well,
cold a
yeah.
lot, people.
Yeah, when you have low body fat, you're cold all the time. I say that I'm a reptile.
It's like it's 90 degrees out. You're putting on a sweater. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's true.
But how did you get started into your fitness?
Um, a little bit of like you said, like the body dysmorphia. Like I wasn't fat, but I also wasn't fit. And like I'm 5'2" on a good day. So even 3 extra pounds looks a lot different than if someone who's 5'5" who gains an extra couple of pounds. And it sat with me, and whenever I was playing sports, like when I played soccer and lacrosse, I could eat like I was a walking dumpster. I ate everything in sight. And then when I injured my knee, in between there and quitting those, I quickly realized, oh, I can't do that. And when I do eat 9 pieces of pizza, that's an over exaggeration, but I feel like trash. I found that just moving my body and like fueling it the right way is the way that I feel my best too. It takes a while to realize that. Like it wasn't until after college I was like, oh, these Fruit Loops are what's making me feel like garbage.
I see. I with the Fruit Loops thing, I'm a cereal fanatic. I still eat that today. That's my guilty pleasure. But I definitely don't feel
Yeah.
good after I eat a bowl or something. But
No, but you know what you're getting yourself into.
well, much like any probably fitness person that really has been doing it for a while can probably understand what it's like to restrict yourself too. I mean, I've restricted a lot of what I eat for a long time now. I mean, if you pull out a pizza from Domino's around me, there's no way I'm not eating the whole thing.
Right.
It's when you said 9 slices of pizza, I can relate to that. Like it's usually that because you're eating such bland food all the time. But I try and show people like there's another way to do it as well. You can incorporate it, make it fun, put a hot sauce on there, put a certain spice. I learned my spice cabinet after all these years of just eating salads and chicken and all these bland foods.
Right. Boiled
But
chicken is the death of any fitness goal.
yeah, trust me, exactly not appetizing. It's always those meme photos you see on like Instagram, like fitness pages that are just like, you think this is hard and it's someone working out in the gym. And then it's like, this is actually hard. And it's actually meal planning because you basically are just eating bland foods.
It's so true. It's so true. Yeah, I've focused a lot on my diet recently of just like eating real food makes a huge difference. Like I used to count calories obsessively, and now I'm like, I don't care if I ate an extra 300 calories worth of vegetables because I'm not going to get fat from broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and avocado. Like that's not how that works.
Yeah, for me, like when I first started, I thought it was all about calories and all that type of stuff. And what I ended up doing was I looked at the nutrition label. I even tell people now that are eating or they're working out and they're trying to get fit, stay away from the nutrition label. Like, yeah, you know what's good, you know the proper vegetables, but the first thing you do when you turn over that nutrition box or whatever, you get to see the calorie content. And then so many people get deterred when it says 200, 300, 400, 500 calories. Me, it was like anything over 100 is too much to eat in one sitting. I was like, it got crazy. And like, even now I do it and
Right.
I'm always constantly looking at it. It was like I slipped up in my life and now I can never unsee it or undo it. But I've been incorporating more foods now, going out to eat, which I haven't done in 5 years. I finally went out and did it like a couple months back, had some seafood. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm a picky eater. I like my same stuff. I know exactly what the calorie content in it is, the protein content, all these types of things
that's fair.
that are essential. But then eventually I was just like, what's the point of doing this forever if you cannot enjoy your actual life? And
Right.
that's what I wanted people to understand. I see so many people in the gym. I mean, I've been going there all different times. Like you were making fun of me throwing a jab at me about
2
working out
a.m., man.
2 a.m. to
I
4 a.m. and then I come home and I eat something.
oh, no, I'm a sleeper again. Like that's why I didn't go into the medical field other than research. I like my sleep.
Well, even after going for so long, my clock went all the way around the globe. I mean, there was one point it went from 2 a.m., then I was going in at 1 a.m., then I was going in at 12, then I was going at 11, then 10, then 9, and it went all the way around the clock. And I got to see so many diverse people, so many
Oh
different
God,
types of people.
so many gym creatures.
What's your favorite gym creature?
There was when I was living in the city, I joined this like hole in the wall gym. And it was a 24-hour gym, but I mean, it was dirt cheap and there were like bowls of chalk everywhere. But there was this guy who would straight up bark when he did his bench presses. And I was like, why is there a dog in the gym right now? He was barking. Nothing can compare to that.
There's so I got
Yeah.
someone for you. There's a person that goes in the gym. I ended up changing my time up, and then he ended up changing his time up later again, like with me. And I was like, wait a minute, like now he's going at 2 a.m. with me. So just about a month ago, there's this dude that looks like a failed member of Avenged Sevenfold. Like he looks like he
Oh
should be part
no.
of a rock band that didn't make it. And at one point, my the owner of my gym, she gave me the key to the gym, and she's like, you don't have to pay for a membership anymore. And shout out to her, big respect to her, Bonnie. You're
Hey.
amazing. She's like my second mom. But she was like, I don't have to worry about you not coming here. You respect this place and you treat it as your home. You've been coming here every single day for a long time now. And I know this helps you in a way that this is not how a lot of people use it, mostly because you have like a mental thing. And I understand that. And having that
That's
openness in the
awesome.
gym solidified it. It didn't matter if I lived 2 hours away, I'd still drive to this gym in particular. But
Yeah.
I used to watch the door, like, because 24-hour fitness, you get some dude scans his card late at night and then lets in like 30 of his friends. We started having so many things break, so many mirrors like smashed, equipment thrown everywhere. People were coming in that were longtime members that have been there for like 10, 15 years that were like, this place is getting torn apart. Then they look at
Yeah, it's not
me
cool.
and they look at me and
Yeah.
I'm in my 20s and I don't talk. I have headphones on and I have my hoodie up or something, and then I'll be working out and they'll come by me, shoot me a look, and then I'll walk by like, "Excuse me, are you done with that?" And they're like, "What'd you say, punk?" And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 what happened?"
Yeah, I'm not the hood rat here.
And they're like, "Wait a minute, you didn't think you're not like who I thought you were." And I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "We just figured you were some punk teenager." It's like, "Nah, man, I treat this place with the utmost respect. I put my weights back, all that type of stuff. I'm that
Yeah,
guy."
re-rack your shit, man.
It's not hard, but I get you're
No.
lazy, but come on, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm able to rack my shit, you should be able to rack your shit.
Yeah, you don't have an excuse.
But back to the failed Avenged Sevenfold guy. So
Yes.
he's got a super long goatee, like I mean perfectly like where it's cut so it looks like like you shoved it in a square block and then pulled it out and it just stayed that shape.
Oh no.
And then he's got the long rocker hair and he like flicks it back and forth like that, like do the little swish like he's
Oh
in
God.
a Vogue
Yeah.
magazine. And he sits on the Smith machine doing bench press for 3 hours. I swear to you, he did one set. 30 minutes later, he's been on his phone the whole entire time to the point where I was like, I'm about to tell this guy he needs to get up.
It's time to go home, dude.
Yeah. And
Time to
he
go home.
And I'm like, I was like, so I ended up, he ended up getting his like key expired, or he didn't pay his membership for a while, and that's usually when I have to like let people know you got to renew your membership before you can come in. And
Yeah.
I stopped him at the door, and I was like, hey man, sorry, I can't let you in because you need to renew your membership. It's been a couple months. Bonnie said she gave you a bit of a break, and he was like, what do you think, you're God of the door? And he's like in his 40s. I'm like, what? Like God
Calm
of
down,
the?
dude.
It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, bro. I'm not trying to fight right now. And
Yeah.
he was like, get out of my fucking way. And like walked in. I was like, whatever, dude. I'm not gonna, conflict you here. I'll just bring it up to Bonnie later. And then he
Yeah.
comes up to me later and he's trying to show me all his bank receipts and everything. And I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, I don't care. If you want to work out in here, work out. It's just us in here. It's not like I'm gonna freak out or
Yeah.
anything. I was just trying to be respectful of the place. But sits on his phone the whole time. He's that type of guy. That's the craziest people I see. And then I came across an occasional steroid user, which was
Yeah. And then there are also the people who think that they know what they're doing and they're gonna slip a disc.
oh, that's
And
true.
those are the
Or
ones that make me nervous.
they're training people too. That's the fun.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I'm the type of guy that keeps his mouth shut, does his workout, goes home. I don't honestly have any kind of
Right.
span with anybody else. But I mean, I've been the occasional person. I'm sitting on a bench press and I'm looking in a mirror because I'm judging myself, not because I'm judging anybody else. And I had a girl get up
Right.
in front of me with leggings on and makeup, like not like she should be working out for how she's
Don't
dressed.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just trying to get attention and she bends down in front of me, like, doing the stretches and everything. And probably not even for me, probably for someone else, but she just wanted to feel like someone was watching her. So
Exactly.
I'm looking down at the mirror, kind of staring at myself through the mirror. And she turns around and goes, are you staring at my ass? I'm like, honey, I'm looking at myself and seeing how fat I am in this tank top.
Right. Right. Yeah. Like, you wish that I was looking at you.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't look at me at the gym. I don't care if you're my best friend. Wave, and other than that, keep going.
Well,
In my mind.
even these giant things too, like what it all leads up to is the fact is, why are a lot of gyms really uncomfortable for people? Like people that are just starting to work out, that don't know what they're doing and they don't want to ask for help and they don't want to do these types of things. It's not comfortable. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how many friends I have that are a little bit overweight or something. They're just like, man, every time I go in there, I feel like all eyes are on me, all this and this and that. And I'm like, that's who you come across at working out at 2 o'clock in the morning. You see an overweight person on the treadmill. Then as soon as I walk in, they immediately get off the treadmill and don't want to work out. I'm like, do your thing. I'm not going to
Yeah.
bother you. Like, just,
Yeah. Good for you.
yeah, like go for it. If it's 30 minutes, if it's 10 minutes, I don't care. Just do what, if you feel like this is what you need to do, do it. I don't want to feel,
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, getting fit, doing all that, being healthy does not mean going to the gym. It could
No.
be changing your diet up. I didn't know that was a big thing
Yeah.
until, you know, when I was first going my first couple of years. And then I found out, like, holy shit, I'm working out my physical body 100%. What about working out our minds?
Yep.
I
Yeah.
my bodybuilding manager, his name's Chuck. I had him on the podcast and we're talking about him. Like, he's the one guy, or you see him and he's like, oh, he's wearing a Captain America sweatshirt. He's a pretty cool guy. He looks like
Yeah.
like a dad or something. It's not super like bodybuilder style. He starts showing
Hmm.
me pictures on his phone. He's like, you want to see what I look like? And he showed me all these pictures. I'm like, do you have any pictures of you not in a Speedo? He's like, no, I don't.
Why would I?
But the weirdest thing
Right.
about him is, even though his top half is not like the same how it used to be, just because with age and everything. But me and him got into a deep dive conversation about like aging and how that kind of plays a factor. Because surprisingly, you'll come across a lot of bodybuilders and people think that, oh, they're physically fit, they're perfect. No, they probably suffer from something even worse than being like, out of shape or something, or in pain. The fact is, they probably suffer from a mental disorder.
Yeah. And they look like shit and feel like shit when they're old.
Yeah. I mean, did you see the documentary with Ronnie Coleman?
I did not.
So
No.
you know who Ronnie Coleman is, right?
Yeah.
That big bodybuilder guy. Well, there's a
Hmm.
documentary about him, and he has an addiction to working out, much like I can relate a little bit. But
Yeah.
he's literally at the point where he's wearing those things that clip around your arms. Like in South Park, the guy that has the braces or the walkers on his arms.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
he has those because his body is in so much hypertrophy. I guess hypertrophy, whatever it's called.
Hypertrophy. Yeah.
Yeah, he literally him working out is causing more damage to it, but he can't stop. So he's still jacked, but his legs are all messed up, his arms are all messed up. He's got his bones poking out of his skin, and he's like, I can't stop working out, and it's destroying me. But he still does it. The whole documentary, he's lifting, and he has his crutches laid beside him, and he's like lifting a weight. And then when he gets up to walk, he puts on his crutches. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen.
It is. Yeah. It's terrible. And I mean, you see similar things with ex-football players too.
Yeah, what do you think about the whole CT thing that's going on where like people are getting hit so hard that it's causing that rattling in the brain and everything? You think we would have thought about that at some point?
Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but I mean, common sense would say to me, if you're taking that much of you're taking continual hits to your head, like if you don't think that there are going to be consequences from that, then maybe you had few neurons to rub together in the first place.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to like just your message that you try and give out to people, what are you trying to do exactly? Like your Instagram's pretty, open and it's very, very informative for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, so I guess I'm interested in like the prevention of, chronic diseases. Like I think food and movement are the first things to do to prevent and to treat certain things. Like you shouldn't take a pill for everything. Try changing up your diet and your physical activity before you reach for a prescription. And I think that, changing that will lead to a huge difference in the amount of chronic diseases that this population sees. The first generation was born that's going to have a shorter life expectancy than even our generation. And I think that lies with the fact that most of us aren't eating more food, like real food. Like if it can't rot, maybe don't eat it. Is
Yeah.
is my thing.
Well, it sucks too because the society that we live in has been structured to be a 9 to 5 lifestyle to pump out like factory workers, and our education system has kind of been teaching that for a long time. And
Right.
sadly, when you're working or you're a single mom, let's say, or single parent with 3 kids and you got to give them dinner or something, it's so much easier to stop and get fast food. It's so much easier to do these types of options that are so
And it's
cheap.
cheaper.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's that's the pain because like me, I go to the store and I'm mostly in the produce aisle picking out like I'm not the guy that spends an extra couple bucks on organic. I can't do that one unless I did come across a 2 pound apple, and I will say that was probably the best purchase of my entire life.
That's awesome.
It said organic, but there's no way they weren't shooting bull testosterone in it.
I don't know. Some people get crazy over the organic stuff, and it's like if you're gonna reach for a non-organic apple over a box of Fruit Loops, like that's fine. I don't care if it's organic or not. Like eat a vegetable, please.
Yeah. I mean, my main thing that I'm always eating is like raw cabbage, stuff that it's not the best if you're in a confined space with other people because you tend to get a bit gassy.
Yeah,
But, cans of
if they
tuna,
love you.
yeah, cans of tuna, simple stuff. And I have so many people, it's like the first thing to get healthy. People are like, hey, I want to come to the gym with you and work out. I'm like, that's not what you got to be focusing on. What you got to be focusing on is your body and what you're eating. And
Yeah, I'm
that's when they start suggesting, like, what do you mean? What's to eat? It's like the vegetable aisle. Go there, find something green, find something yellow, find something red, eat it.
yeah, eat the rainbow. Food is fuel. I mean, it is a calorie, it is energy, but there's just like there are different quality levels of gasoline that you put in your car, same concept for what you put in your body. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm going to crush some pizza tonight, but Monday through Friday, for the most part, I eat a lot of vegetables and lean proteins, and I stay away from shit, from the
Yeah.
Wonder Breads and the cookies and things like that.
Stuff like blank calories too. Like I get it if you
Right.
like pasta, but there's not really a necessity to it. It's really just kind of makes you feel like crap. It's like a carb load, I would say.
No, something like that. That's what I call like soul food, as long as you're not eating it all the time. But if every once in a while you really want some ravioli and it's going to make you happy, go for it, as long as that's not the main focus of your diet.
Well, even that car kind of example that you gave out, my the one bodybuilding manager I was telling you about, Chuck, he actually gave me the best advice and kind of helped me out a little bit in a way too. I've been eating nothing but fish, nothing but vegetables, nothing but like chicken for so long. When I would eat a burger, even if I eat one now, I won't go to the bathroom for like 3 or 4 days and I'll feel like crap. And I'm
It
like,
just screws you up.
my body can't digest it. And he said, you don't understand what's happening to you. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, think of your body right now as a Corvette, okay? But you're putting that nice fuel in there. You're putting that clean energy in there. But you just
Yep.
threw diesel into your car. You're not running right. I'm like,
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense.
Yep. Your engine's gonna freeze. Pretty
Now,
much.
what do you see with the common mistakes? Like, I think a lot, like maybe is a little bit on our diet, but I think it's the whole factor of like, we're seeing 2020 kick in. We're seeing like, it's going to be the first month, first whatever. Usually it's like the first couple of weeks the gym's packed, and then it's nothing like that until like the end of the year when people are starting to, or summertime when people are
Yeah,
like,
that beach body.
yeah, got to get that beach bod. But I think the biggest mistakes is what we're doing now, where everyone's trying to live this diet lifestyle. Like there's been diets throughout history. There's been Atkins, there's been keto, there's been primal, there's all this stuff we're kind of doing now still. But now it's like a whole suppression factor where people are like, nope, you got to do juice cleanses. You got to do this type of lifestyle. You got to be eating, cook all your food at home. Don't go eating fast food. That's true. But when you suppress so much, someone like yourself, that knows about fitness too, is the fact is when you suppress yourself a lot, when someone brings that stuff around you, you tend to binge or you tend to just go nuts
Right.
around it.
Right. And like those juice cleanses, yeah, you're going to lose weight fast, but as soon as you put something in your body other than carrot or celery juice, you're going to gain it all back. People don't realize that like you need to pick a diet that is a permanent, it's a lifestyle, not a 4 week or 21 day thing. And at the end of the day or at the end of the week, it all averages out. If you have a cheeseburger once a week and everything else is pretty clean, it's probably not going to be a huge deal.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think a lot of people, when they look at someone who's like physically fit or in shape, they think, oh, that person thinks they're better than us. It's like, I don't think that at all. Actually, I think I'm probably lower than you a lot, only because I don't know. It's a whole factor of like, I do this because it helps me and there's something I got to get over with in my own head. And I really
Right.
like to work out as well. But the whole factor is fitness has been treated for this thing for a really, really long time that if you have a good body, you have all these looks. I mean, society's been built upon comparisons.
Yeah.
We, we,
Everyone. Yeah.
it doesn't matter about the car you drive, how much money you have, about oh he's got six pack abs, you must be whatever. It's like no, it's like you got to understand a lot of this stuff that goes on. Like we're living in this society now where yeah, looks are everything, but we got to change. We got to do something. That's where we're going to see a healthy lifestyle kick in when you're not worrying about other people. You're not doing this. You're doing what makes you feel good, what makes you feel right, as long as it's not hardcore drugs like cocaine.
Right. Right. Within reason. Yeah. The comparison is what gets everyone. It's like you need to take care of yourself because your body might benefit from a different diet than someone else. Vegan diet might be good for someone, but it's not good for everyone. Or like that Joe Rogan podcast we talked about the girl who I think she went all carnivore and was able to stop taking her epilepsy meds, something along those lines, but like all she eats is meat. That doesn't mean that everyone needs to put down the vegetables and only eat steak. But what that's an extreme example, but what works for one person isn't going to work for another. So you have to figure out what works for you and be okay with it.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I helped my buddy lose 60 pounds, and he was telling me, he was like, dude, what do you eat? I want to live your lifestyle. I want to copy your routine. I'm like, your routine and my routine are two completely different things. There's no
Yeah.
way I can see you getting to the gym every single day. And me, I restrict my calories a lot. So this is why I look like this. For you, I would say, what's your main thing? You're Italian, right? He goes, yeah. I'm like, all right, cut out the pasta. He's like, what? Pasta? I'm like, cut it out. Just cut
Yep.
just cut it out a little bit, stick to it maybe one night a week or something. If you want fast results, obviously just cut it out, but work out a little bit too, maybe like an hour or half hour. He lost 60 pounds in under 6 months.
That's
Like
awesome.
he was, and I saw him taking selfies. I saw him feeling better. I saw him acting better.
Yeah.
I saw him being way more positive. I'm like, that's all you need. fuel your body with essential things. He started growing his own vegetables and went completely way farther than I do with it. And I'm like, good job, man. Like, you're doing it. He still makes bread and he does occasional treats and stuff. I'm like, that's all it needs is, first of all, support. That's the main thing. I think that
Yeah.
gets lost a lot too. It's hard to find someone that's going to work out with you and stick to your routine because we all end up diving into our own. But I mean, at first, when I started working out, I had to be with somebody. I had to be doing this. And then after
Yeah.
a while, I was like, I can't rely on anybody else to kind of show up with me and be able to commit with me. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing it by myself. And now I prefer it by myself.
Yeah. I mean, the initially the accountability really helps, but also like depending on your group, there's always going to be someone in your friend or family circle that gets uppity about you working out or gets mad when you don't accept a second offering of pasta at the dinner table because you're trying to take care of yourself. They kind of judge you for it. And I feel like it's those people that uh, hit you harder than those who encourage you. It's, it, it's harder that sits with you more than someone who gives you a compliment. So you really need to surround yourself with people who are like, do the damn thing. If you want a lettuce wrap, I'll make you lettuce wrap. What do you want?
Yeah. I definitely think like if you had to kind of make a, I guess, a perspective opinion, I would say, of where we're going in society now, do you think it's going to get worse with the whole fitness thing or do you think it's going to get better?
Uh, I think we're at a tipping point. I think there are a lot of people who are realizing that fitness and like the food industry combined are uh, full of it in a lot of ways, and that there you need to go back to your roots and just move your body and eat actual food. Um, so I think it can go either way. It can go either way.
It's kind of hard just because the factor of we've been lied to so many times too by like the food
Right.
companies and a while ago it was like the sugar industry paid off the bunch of sites and publishers to say that fat was bad for you and then they start telling you 10 years later if fat's good for you. It was a lie. It was all the sugar industry. It's like it's so much flip flop back and forth and then all the new diet
Yeah.
trends and then people
And
try them.
yeah, and how long is it until eggs are bad again?
I'm
Yeah.
a egg white fanatic. Okay, I love
I
those
am
things.
I am pro eggs. We probably have breakfast for dinner like twice a week.
And it's like, is it just so hard to eat like something like go and find out what, a lot now we're seeing in a spark in the fact it's now farm to table type stuff. People don't want to go to a grocery store to get everything. Does that mean that's an
Yeah.
option for everybody? No. Does that mean it's
No.
probably a good option? Yeah. I mean, it's probably a
Yeah.
good option to figure out a little bit more about your food or just look up the fact of what's going into your body. I mean, so many people like they go and get fast food every day. I'm like, how much are you actually tasting your food anymore?
Right. Right.
It's like they could literally paint a turd and give it to you, and the next thing you know, you're still eating it.
Exactly. If you deep fry a turd, someone will eat it, guaranteed.
Exactly. I mean, they got deep fried Oreos. I start seeing that, and that just makes me sick to my stomach a little bit.
Yeah, that makes me sick just thinking about it. I'm to the point where I'm in it long enough that my body will crave vegetables. Like all of a sudden I'll be like, I need a vegetable and I need it right now.
Yeah, people talk shit on how broccoli tastes. I'm like, I love broccoli.
Oh no, roasted broccoli and roasted Brussels sprouts, my jam.
Oh, I eat my vegetables raw.
I mean, I like raw veggies, but roasted veggies on a salad are great.
I like
Just
making
roast up. Go
raw.
ahead.
You ever heard of raw tacos?
No.
You take a cabbage leaf, like the full giant leaf of like a fresh cabbage, and
Uh-huh.
you put all your food inside of that taco leaf, and then roll it up.
Okay. That
So
sounds good.
it's like a little taco. It's what's weird is
Yeah.
cabbage is the one thing if you like bread, eat cabbage because it kills the craving. It's that crunch factor.
Oh, okay. The crunch factor. Okay. I can get into that.
I don't know
Uh,
what that is in our brain that makes that stimulus, but for me, it's like immediately if I put oregano on my salad, it makes it taste exactly like Domino's pizza crust.
I know. Just those little things that can make a huge difference.
These are how I get through my day.
Right, right. We make a lot of like almond flour muffins. Those are pretty good too. Just make them in the microwave and toast them up. And
Now,
that get
do you discover a lot of your own recipes or do you try and like I know you probably focus on a lot about the nutrition aspect for people too when they come to kind of getting healthier, like do you incorporate ways that people can what would you suggest, I would say, for people to eat healthier?
So with our cardiac arrest patients, we are not legally, we can't give them advice. We'll refer them to a nutritionist, but like for friends and family, and like you're not gonna know what you like most vegetables.
I think even when it comes to the nutrition aspect of it too, like it's okay to do the occasional going out to eat. It's okay to do the occasional, this. You don't have to go. I've seen so many people. I feel like where it ends up failing is the fact they go 100% where they isolate everything. Like
Yeah.
you're starting to see people this weird trend going on now. Food reviews.
No, I
Uh,
haven't.
You haven't heard of food reviews yet?
I have not. I live in a hole. I'm sorry.
Look, look up the hashtag when we get done here, food review. There are
Okay.
people that are just going to stores and buying like the food that you want to eat, but you're not gonna put in your body because you know what it's gonna do to you. So
Gotcha.
you got
Okay.
people eating like mountains of meat, barbecue sandwiches. You're eating like 12 Popeyes chicken sandwiches, like either a
Oh
whole lot of
God.
food or the greasiest types of food. And they just make a video on it. And they're getting thousands of subscribers on YouTube, thousands of subscribers on Instagram, everything.
That's a special kind of torture to me.
It's crazy because it's a weird suppression factor we're living in with the fact that this is growing so big because now people are getting a literal job from food reviewing just because
Right.
they're getting followers, they're getting views from people that don't want to eat it themselves, but they want to watch somebody eat it, and it kills that craving.
Yeah, well, if you eat a disgusting amount of it, it'll definitely kill that urge, that craving.
Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to more of like a cardiac arrest thing, when it comes to bringing people back to life and getting them back kind of on their feet, or at least in a more like, you know, beneficial way of life, how do you
Hmm.
typically come across this? Like, obviously, it's different per person, but like, what's the most common cause? A lot of people are going to think elderly that are being brought back to life, but I would have to say it would have to be like car accidents, right?
There's a wide spectrum of like what causes a cardiac arrest. I mean, the elderly, drug overdoses, drinking too much, an underlying arrhythmia, or congenital heart defect that you don't know about. Actually, even just having like a severe electrolyte imbalance can lead to a cardiac arrest too. So I know that you have a 7-year streak, but if you ever have a pretty high fever, don't work out, because it's cases like that your body's trying to fight something off, and so your body's off. And that electrolyte imbalance can even lead to a cardiac arrest. That's not meant to scare anyone. If you have a 102-degree fever, your ass needs to be in bed, not on the treadmill.
That's true. I mean, I've went into the gym when I had a ripped chest muscle and I was trying to
Oh,
bench. And it happened the day before too. Literally, I was at the gym
dude,
at like midnight, and I was bench pressing like I think 235, and I'm only like 135. So
dude,
I'm bench pressing. They call me the Ant Man at my gym. Um,
that's an awesome nickname.
it is. It's a little bit intimidating because people are like, "What do you mean you're the Ant Man?" I'm like, I don't know. I lift 3 times my own weight, I
Watch
guess.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch me.
But I ripped my chest muscle, and I felt the whole like I dropped 235 straight on my chest.
Oh,
So there's no one at the gym at midnight.
yeah.
I'm stuck under a bar right now. So what I did was I ended up not having the clips on. So I just tilted to one side, dropped it all, and then the bar swung right off me. And I ended up having so much adrenaline. I ran around my gym a couple of times.
That's scary.
I was in there the next morning with duct tape across my chest and my arm, keeping it together while I was wearing a jacket so no one could see it. I was like, I'll just hit
Dude.
legs for a couple days.
Yeah, that's yeah, stick to leg day for a little while.
That's why I say yes. I agree. Taking it easy a little bit too when it comes to the
Yeah.
whole factors. You don't need to be going as insane as I do. I might have
No.
a little bit of a problem there, but I think
Listen to your body. I mean, if you want to like put that check mark on that calendar for a streak, like walk around the block or something, but like tailor it to what your body can handle realistically.
yeah, that's an important factor in there too. A lot of people think to be healthy, to be physically fit, you have to go to a gym. Hell no. You could do something you love, such as hiking, such as biking, such as anything that just gets you moving and up out of bed.
Yeah, you can do stuff in the house, and like people think that you need to be 100 pounds soaking wet to be fit, but you just need to move your body. I mean, there's the big thing about like skinny fat is worse than being like fat but fit. So like the guy who's 30 pounds overweight but he still walks his dog 20 minutes a day is healthier than the kid who lives in his mom's basement and doesn't move from the couch and plays Dungeons and Dragons all day.
Yeah, and it's really crazy too because you can also get skinny fat from like doing excessive amounts of cardio, throwing your body into.
Yeah,
I think I'm not gonna lie, that cortisol rush is pretty fucking good. You
it
know,
is. Runner's high is great.
and definitely if you're gonna ask me anything, if you even want my wallet or all my money in my bank account or any of my passwords, anything, just ask me after I went for a run because I couldn't give two shits less.
Yeah, right.
But after doing that a while excessively, like I would eat maybe 50 calories over like 100 or 200 calorie meal that I knew I was going to have. And I end up going to the gym and burning off 1600 or something. Like after a while, your body starts getting like a little bit like hurting, a lot of pain from it. So I come from that perspective with a lot of people too. I see people in the gym all the time doing excessive amounts of cardio, excessively working out, like to the point like there was this chick in there one time that was bench pressing and she was probably her first time going, so she ended up putting a plate on each side. She was a
Oh,
little bit bigger. I just walked up to her and told her, I was like, "Hey, just a heads up, you might not feel it now, but you're gonna feel it tomorrow, and it's gonna hurt."
yeah.
I never saw her back there again.
Not in a good way.
No,
Yeah, I mean, there is too much of a good thing.
and I think like a lot of times it's not about really pushing yourself too. It's about just staying consistent. That's why I try and tell people like every day I go, it's not that I'm working out harder than everybody else in the room. It's just that I'm staying so consistent. You know, even if I'm a little bit like not feeling well, if my arms hurt, I'm like, well, I'm gonna do a little bit light on the arms today. I'm gonna work on something else. I'm gonna do something different. You know, change it up. Don't push yourself to the point you break yourself.
Right. Just show up. Just show up. But
Exactly.
those elliptical monkeys, man, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
that's one that's like a mouse on like a wheel or something. I can't do the elliptical. I'm like, I just can't just run up and down like slowly. It's like a skip. That's what it is. It's a skip.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I can do like the Stairmaster for 20 minutes just to like a warm up or, some post leg day cardio or something like that. But the people who come in every day and they're like, I do 2 hours on the elliptical every day, I would hate my fucking life.
Right? How do you get through the Stairmaster? Because I have a little routine I play in my head. As soon as I get on there, I just act like I have to get up all these steps before the zombies come and grab me. It helps me be
That's
motivated.
true. That's true. I'll normally like watch Netflix. That's my thing. Or like I'll pick like a guilty pleasure on Netflix and watch it while I'm on the Stairmaster or listen to a podcast. Things like that. I need to distract myself during cardio when I'm not running.
But I think the best part about fitness too is the amount of kind of stress relief you get from it. Not only like the physical, like, admiration of your body or something, but more like the thing of my emotional problems, all that can get shoved into physical fitness. And, you want to keep it out of your head, but it's also a great time to release a lot of that stress, a lot of that pent up
Right.
aggression or pain that you've been experiencing all day.
It's an endorphin rush. Like if I go more than 2 days without working out, I'm a creature. I
Starts
feel better when I work
you,
out. Yeah.
you start screaming at people like, ah! It's like, whoa, what the fuck
Yeah.
is that?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. That or if I'm hangry, like bad things happen.
Yeah, I don't think like people in my household just don't understand. When I get home from the gym, don't talk to me until I got my food and I'm sitting down eating it.
Right. Yeah,
Yep.
that's fair.
It's like you just want to
Respect.
rip somebody's head off the whole time.
Yeah, it's true. Like I will eat anything in sight. Get out of my face.
Now, when it comes to yeah, bringing people back to life, that whole aspect of this kind of cardiac arrest, I would say.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen A Thousand Ways to Die when the dude died and they brought him back to life?
I've seen A Thousand Ways to Die. That was on what, the Spike channel a long time ago, right?
Yeah. So there was a weird case where a dude was robbing a guy's house, and a dude woke up with a bat with his wife, and his wife was like, "There's someone here. Got to go check it out." He goes around the corner, and you think he's going to kill the guy with the gun. Well, the dude has a heart attack and
Oh.
dies. So what happens is his wife gives him CPR, and then she can't bring him back to life, so she calls 911. Then she walks away, and like a minute later, he gets up and then walks over to the bank robber guy, or not bank robber guy, the robber, and
Yeah.
the robber falls out the window and dies. And apparently, there's some type of thing that you can stop CPR, and even if the person doesn't come back to life immediately, there's like a time window where that person can come back to life.
I have no idea, to be honest. My thought is that like sometimes you don't you don't need to shock the heart necessarily to restart it. Only certain cardiac arrhythmias will respond to shocking the heart. So my thought would be either it wasn't a true cardiac arrest and he just went unresponsive, or those compressions were enough to restart the heart. Again, I am not a physician, but
It's called the Lazarus syndrome.
the
I had to Google
Lazarus.
that one. It's defined as a delayed return of spontaneous circulation after CPR
Okay,
has ceased. In other words, patients who are
gotcha,
pronounced dead after cardiac arrest experience an impromptu return.
gotcha. Okay, yes,
Because I
the
was like,
Lazarus. Yeah,
at one point in our history, there was people in the mortician's room that were actually talking about people coming back. Like
yeah.
people that were like in the hospital, like where people like they put the dead bodies or something. There were people that were just randomly popping up and they thought it was ghosts or zombies or something. It turns out
That
people
was a
were.
big fear. Yeah, they would put bells on dead bodies and let them sit there in case they came back to life.
It's crazy too.
Yeah.
At one point we had this thing where when they would seal a coffin shut and do like airtight and they would sell it that way, like we're gonna make sure that no worms get inside, your loved one's gonna be safe and
Yep.
preserved forever. Well, a lot of the coffins that they would dig underground would explode because when you lock it airtight, they have that embalming fluid inside of them. So they were just making
Oh,
bombs.
that's crazy.
I just it's
I mean, makes sense, but
It's
ugh.
nuts, like, the world it comes to. It's like you wanna stay alive and stay physically fit, but
All
I
right.
don't know about staying physically fit when you're dead.
I don't care what I look like when I'm dead. Dude, I want to be cremated and become one of you can freeze dry your body, and you can use it to fertilize a tree and like grow a tree. Dude, I would like to be a palm tree on an all-inclusive resort so that my coconuts can be full of rum. That's what I'm about.
I wanna be bronze when I'm dead,
Okay, fair. A statue like somewhere
like, put on the front of
specific?
a boat.
Okay, okay.
Can you
A nice
imagine that?
yacht. Why not? Why not? That's what you want. There are weirder things. There are
Uh,
weirder things.
I think, when you look at kind of like when I do get older, I'm just gonna go full grandpa. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna not care about the look so much, that whole thing. I like it now
Hmm.
because I have the ability to, but like there's a dude at my gym that works out and his name's he's gonna hate that I say this. His name's Rich, but everyone calls him Dick. I don't know
Okay.
how we make that jump to a reference for a name, but I guess we do. Um, I mean, this guy benches 3 plates. He's like the most physically fit grandpa I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like a fishing company and all this stuff. And he wears he's from ex-military and all this. But
Okay.
I was talking to him. I was like, so how do you have the strength to do it? He goes, because a lot of people at one point just give up this. I've been doing it like every other day my entire life. And it's been something that's kind of helped me. And he talked about bullying at a point too, which seems like a lot of bodybuilders get into it from like a bullying at a young age.
Yeah, I think it's a complex.
But, like, even having that, like, not letting your body go completely to shit. I mean, there are some people that I know
Yeah.
that are like, they take up 3 seats on a bus, they take up 3 seats or anywhere they can't move around and now it's just hard for them to even leave the house because 'cause they're in pain. And it's like, you don't ever wanna get to that point, and I've helped friends get themselves off of that point, but it's really, really bad. But when you stop caring about yourself truly is when you stop caring about what you're putting into your body.
Exactly. And you stop moving. Like, uh, you don't want to just let yourself go. Like, if you want to not care about what size your jeans are or how many abs you can count in the mirror, that's one thing. But it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You should still take care of yourself.
Now, even with the society that we're living in is a little bit kind of on the edge. I mean, what would you say, like some things that we could do at least to promote or be able to help people out there that are trying to make a change? Like, I feel like even besides some of the giant potholes that people fall in, such as like, you got to follow this diet, you got to eat nothing but salads, you got to do this. There are some big things that get a little bit that deter people from just wanting to pursue this.
Yeah, I think people need to realize that, like, yeah, it's not easy, but there are a lot of things in life that aren't easy that we still do. And that it's not all or nothing. Like, yeah, you have a full-time job, but you still take a vacation. So treat your body right, but occasionally on your birthday, eat a piece of cake. Occasionally have a drink or two. It's about balance so that you're taking care of both your mind and your body. Like, who cares if your body is shredded if you're dying inside mentally and you hate every day eating the same shit That's not worth it. So you need to figure out where that balance is.
Yeah, even if I look, I can't get to that point, but it's definitely good to express to people at the start, like, hey, it's about doing what you love. Like I love doing it. It's something, I'm not saying that like, yeah, I've been trying my best to overcome that whole step of like just eating salads every day, incorporating like a pizza here and there, but it's about just having fun with it too. Like I love being able to go out and do stuff, hang out with friends and stuff, and go out to
Right.
eat or something. It's this life is not long to live, so you might as well make the best of it, but don't go so bad to where it ends quickly.
Yeah, enjoy it. I mean, everyone's balance is going to look differently. Like it sounds like you are pretty balanced. You like what you're doing with your friends and what you're doing in the gym, and the results coming out from both sides of that. So, but that doesn't mean that it's going to work for everyone. Like we discussed before, everyone's balance is going to look a little bit different, and that's cool.
My length of my workout is as long as a Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh God, that can be anywhere from like an hour and a half to 5.
Yeah, the 4-hour Alex Jones one really fucked me up.
I have to cherry pick the episodes because sometimes they just digress too much. But
Yeah,
it's good.
he's
He
he's got something. I really like it just because he's having conversations and he's very, very open perspective about it too.
Yeah, and he'll listen to just about anyone and just shoot the shit about anything. And he's also really good at acknowledging if he doesn't know something, which I can respect because a lot of people can't acknowledge that.
One of
He's
my
a cool dude.
one of my favorite ones on there was Ryan Sickler. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Uh, I'm better with context and names for anything.
He's friends with like Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer and all those guys.
Okay, we're getting there. Yeah.
But he's a comedian from Baltimore. He has a good podcast you might like. I ended up switching from Joe Rogan to him. It's called The Crab Feast. It's an old one. Now he does one called The Honeydew, which is like
Okay.
it's the stories behind the storytellers. So all the bad stories every comedian, every actor, every famous musician has, and it's like their whole life moments leading up to that. Like they talk about a bunch of stuff,
Okay.
but it's coming from a comedian's perspective. So you're hearing them crack jokes on it. Like the one dude got his name's Josh Adam Myers, got hit by a car and
Okay.
when he was
Oh,
young and he was acting all serious, and he goes, yeah, and he goes, they basically had to give me this thing after they hit my front 2 legs, and he goes, wait a minute, what about the back 2 legs? And it's like just cracking jokes like that the whole time where you're just laughing at it, and it's like
yeah.
it's making light in the darkness, and that's what I try and do with my podcast. Is more like just having a conversation with people and being able to just shoot the shit and see where it goes.
Right. Right. Exactly. And it's great. It's great. It gives perspective, which is
Exactly.
great. Yeah. Do you listen to the podcast Mind Pump?
I have listened to Mind Pump.
That's a good one. That's a good one too.
It literally gives your mind a pump.
It does. If you want to pump your body, you got to pump your mind, man.
I'm telling you, the podcasts are really, really informational too. Whether it's like fun joking around or people just cracking jokes and something. Sometimes you pull in interesting information out of there too. Like a lot of people listen and be like, "Whoa!" Like I listened to Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, and I'm learning a lot. Like it's able to do that. Considering I don't like reading. I mean I'm good at
Yeah.
it, but it's just time tasking for me.
Right. I mean, I read so much shit for work. The last thing I want to do is pick up a book, but I will house podcasts or audiobooks.
Exactly.
So I feel you. I
Except
feel you.
if it's an audiobook by George Takei. I don't know if you've ever heard of his audiobook, but he's got
No.
one that will read you to sleep. And
Perfect.
it's like sleeping with George Takei or something. And he's the guy that played in Star Trek. I don't know if you know who he is.
What did he play in Star Trek?
I think it's Captain Sulu,
Maybe.
the
It's been
Chinese
a
guy.
while. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Oh my, that guy. Well, that's
Yeah.
basically the audiobook. Like, you are smart. You are, and he's just saying that over and over again. It was the most uncomfortable thing, but Godspeed to him if he can get that sold.
Yeah, you can sell just about anything.
Yeah.
That's hilarious
Let's
though.
do a new diet trend where you just have to breathe really, really loudly and you just get nutrients from it.
Right. There you go. Someone would pay a lot of money for that.
Well, Kate, I really appreciate you coming out and doing the podcast.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks for having me. It's pretty cool.
I want to give you here a minute at the end to kind of promote your content too. Like if you want to shout out your Instagram page, you want people to come follow you.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. Yeah. So my Instagram is the Fit Academic, with underscores after the and fit. Um, and yeah, check me out. I've got a little bit of, like I said, it's my musings of health, wellness, fitness, and everything in between. You'll see some fur babies. You'll see some gym. You'll see. I'm trying to implement like more things to teach people about, the preventative stuff, like food is fuel, food is medicine, treat your body right. So yeah, if you want to see, where I go along that path, and hopefully eventually I'll get back into some personal training, you can wait for that. That'd be great.
Creating a balanced lifestyle. I like it.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Out of the Blank podcast, and stay tuned for our next episode.